and she was just talking about how stressed out she felt about needing to declutter. She has a small baby and another baby on the way, and she's just like, I've got to get rid of this stuff before the second baby comes, or it's just going to close in on me. And I was just trying to comfort her and let her know, like, this is totally easy and you've got this and you can do it. And that point of feeling really overwhelmed is just something that you need to break through and do it. And so actually, in my conversation with her, I thought of these specific tips that I'm going to share with you guys here because maybe they'll be helpful to you. I know some of you have asked me to give you some more information about like cleaning products that I use, living minimally, clothing, all of that stuff. So this is going to kind of be a new little side venture into those kind of videos. So this video is all about decluttering and kind of streamlining what you have in your home to live a little bit more minimally. I personally feel like I am a minimalist, but I really I'm not a huge fan of that, tag like, I'm a minimalist, I'm a vegan. I'm a person actually, and I just don't like to have a lot of junk around because of my upbringing. I moved a lot as a child. We were always having to, pack up and reassess, and I really, really like that. And then moving into a performing career professionally for the last almost 20 years now, I have been on the move a lot, whether it be in national tours where I'm living out of one suitcase in and out of hotels all the time, or if I'm living on a cruise ship, or if I'm living abroad. I never have a ton of stuff. So this is probably the first time in my life when I've lived in the biggest space that I've ever lived in, but it's still so important to me to make sure that I live minimally and constantly reassess the material things that I have in my life, because I just start to feel stressed out when I have too many things in my house and I have too many things that I don't know where anything goes. I don't like it. So these are my tips and what I constantly am kind of asking myself to declutter, and I hope that they are helpful to you. My first tip is to just kind of take a step back and look at your space that you're wanting to declutter. What is this space for? Is it your living room? Is it in a livable kind of way, or is it full of toys and magazines that you don't read and things that you never use? By taking a step back, you can see if you have multiple versions of the same thing. You can see if there's a giant mess in your kitchen where it takes you like hours to find the lid to the corresponding bottom. If you have too many jars, I have a lot of jars, like I'm not going to lie, but I use most of them. So things like that. Where do you have too much of something that you don't use, and where are the areas in your space, whether it be living room, bedroom, closet, kitchen, drawers, whatever, where it's taking you a really long time to find what you're after. The more that you can see where you kind of have an issue, the better you're going to be like, okay, I can clearly tackle this, and you can just break it up into chunks. A lot of times what I do, I used to do like, full on, I'm going to clean this till it's clean, and that is going to be it, and it will be beautiful and sparkling. But now with Eli, I kind of chunk my life up. So this is another area where I kind of chunk my life up. And what I mean by that is if I know that I have 15 to 20 minutes and there's some area that's been kind of bugging me because it's getting a little messy, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to set the kitchen timer for 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm going to clean out that area as long as that time is going, and then when I'm done, I'm done. I can always come back to it later, but at least I've made a head start, just chipping away a little bit at a time. I do the same thing with cleaning my house as well. The second thing I would mention is to declutter every area of your house. If you have one really beautiful area, you're gonna be like, yeah, but then you go to your bedroom and you're like, ugh, this is awful. So really, even if you chip away at it a little bit at a time, make your main aim and your goal to be completely decluttered. I always think about in the back of my mind is that if I had to move from the place that I'm at right now, how long would that take me? That might be a kind of strange thing to think about, but because I'm constantly moving, I'm always thinking, what do I need to get rid of to streamline my life, and streamline if I did have to pick up and go. That's a strange analogy, isn't it? Once you kind of commit to decluttering, you'll start to start to feel like, yeah, this is fun. I really enjoy it. I do enjoy it, and it makes my headspace feel so much better when I don't have a bunch of junk everywhere. So some examples of that would be, checking your drawers. I have, for example, which I know I need to get rid of, I have 3 bandanas that I've been carrying around with me for the last year. I've moved them from this room to that room, to this suitcase, to that suitcase. They're really cute, but I've not worn any of them for over a year. So I would say for me, those are things that need to go. If I'm not using it every day, or at least on a fairly regular basis, they need to go. I also have something where I have way too many t-shirts that are not usable to go out of the house. I don't need so many, junk t-shirts or home t-shirts. First of all, it's fine to be comfortable, but I don't need to look like a slob all the time. I'm sure my husband would appreciate if I didn't. And I can't wear those shirts outside, so I need to find some kind of balance with that. So I can pare those down to just 1 or 2 shirts. I can do the laundry. I'm doing laundry constantly with the baby, and I can throw those shirts in, and those can be my home shirts. The other shirts I have can be for going out of the home. I know people say this all the time. It's the KonMari decluttering system, but if something doesn't spark joy, that's her phrase, then it's really, why do you have it? Why do you need it? If it can, bring meaning to somebody else, or it can be helpful to somebody else, give it away. Like, it's not necessary for you to hold on to it if you're just like feeling like you're needing to hold on to it out of guilt because somebody gave it to you, and if they come by and they see that it's not there, there's going to be this weird tension. It doesn't matter. If you don't use it and you don't like it, what's it doing in your house? Ideally, I would say to stop buying or cut down on buying new things as much as you can until you can really get through all of your belongings and see what you have and what you don't want. And most of the time, I always find like, I got rid of this stuff, but I still have so much stuff. This is overwhelming, which gives me kind of like the feeling of, I don't need to buy anything else. But if you do go buy something, I would say question your purchases within your own mind. Do I really need this, or do I just want it, or am I bored, or I just feel like I need something because I'm in a bad mood and I want to go shopping? I think that if we think before we buy, then we'll end up buying less. And right along with that, if you buy with cash, for me anyways, it makes a bigger impression on me than using a credit card. When I use cash, I'm like, okay, this is the cash that I have for the rest of the week. Do I really need to buy this random thing? Probably not. And just think about, you just spent all that time decluttering your house. Are you going to reclutter it with something that you don't really want? So definitely have mindful thoughts about what you buy before you buy it. I would say the next thing is to buy quality pieces, things that you know that you're going to use and that they're going to last for a while. Me and my husband are like the biggest researchers in the world. Ask anybody you know, and with an eye roll, they will tell you that we research things to death. To a fault, but I don't think it's a fault because we research and we get products that are good. They may be a little bit more expensive, but they last a long time and they serve the purpose that we need, instead of just randomly heading to a store and being like, oh, this is on sale, I'm gonna grab this, it'll work for now. If you get those cheap, it'll work for now things, they may break much sooner than if you spent a little bit more on a quality piece that does the same thing but at a higher quality, and then you've spent even more money than you would have if you bought the quality piece in the first place. The next tip is to do this frequently. Just really take stock of your drawers and your closet and your clothes and your kitchen and everywhere. This is something that I do probably every few weeks or at least once a month. I go around. I normally integrate it with cleaning. So if I'm cleaning, I will start to notice, okay, this is getting a little bit messy. I need to organize this again or just tidy it up, because I think that's honestly the biggest key for my home staying clean. Everybody thinks that I clean like nonstop because my home is really clean, but I don't. I just like I said, 15-20 minutes every single day to keep things constantly clean and to keep things constantly organized. It makes life so much easier. I am not spending then 3 days at a time busting my butt trying to get things clean only to then later mess it up. I do a little bit at a time, and for me, that is truly the key of keeping a house clean as well as organized. And right along with that, I would say another thing that I try to do my best, especially with a baby, is if something is put out of place, when I see it, I'm gonna put it right back. Or if I walk into the door and I have my keys, I'm not just gonna throw them somewhere random. I have a spot where I put my keys every time. That helps me save time, not looking for lost keys, for example, but I know exactly where they are and things are not a mess. I know where the cutting boards go, I know where the jars go, I know that these pants go here, you know what I mean? So if you're the kind of person who walks in and just throws everything onto a chair or cabinets or a table or whatever, make your things have a home, and when you come home, just put them away that one time and you don't have to deal with them again. My next tip is the library. I love the library. I'm such like a library nerd, I can't even tell you. But a great thing and a great way to save money as well as help declutter is a lot of the books that you may have around the house that you haven't read in a really long time but you're holding on to because you think that maybe one day you'll need them for reference. Most of the time you don't. Keep a small amount that you think that you need and that you reference a lot. But otherwise, see if you can do things electronically or just head to the library. The library has so many resources available for free. You can check things out whenever you want. There's a book that I've been reading, The No Cry Sleep Solution, and I thought about buying it quite a few times, but it's at my library. So I've just checked it out probably 3 or 4 times, and I've been totally fine with that. I never spent any money on it. When I'm in town, I go to the library, I pick it up, I return it. It's no big deal. So definitely research kind of those types of things in your area. You may have a place that you can go and rent equipment from if you need something, rather than buying, you know, a backhoe or something that you need for one day. You don't need to have that in your possessions. You can have it for one day, and renting different things rather than needing to have them as your own is a really great way to save on having a bunch of clutter around the house, and just expense as well. And then the last thing I want to touch on is that things are not you. Just because you have a lot of things doesn't mean you're a cool person, or, you know, your life is complete. The things that we should be focusing on are our marriages, our babies, our children, quality relationships with people, friends, family. The things are just things. That's it. I feel like this is really kind of cliche to talk about, even because it's so talked about nowadays, but really, when you strip away all of this stuff, we're all people, and the things that are most important are the relationships between us, not the things. That's why when I give gifts to people, I rather give an experience or something that we can go and do together, or them with their loved one, because I feel like you make better memories, and it's just such a wonderful thing to remember. Oh, remember when we went to that concert together? We had the best time. Remember that song? It's so good. That was such a great time. We should do that again. As opposed to, oh yeah, I think they gave me something plastic last year, but I don't remember, or a sweater that I hated and I don't even have it anymore. You know what I mean? So relationships and people are the focus of what should be important in our life, and material things are just that. They're things, and we use them, and if we're not using them on a regular basis, time to say goodbye. So those are my tips on decluttering and kind of living a little bit more minimally. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you'd like to see more videos kind of in this vein. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I do tons of vegan lifestyle videos, recipe videos, and I'm branching out to do a little more kind of videos like these. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye-bye.